This is Nate with Zebros, and I want to talk a little bit about, there's a few of our spring kits that we utilize progressive tender. So as you can see here, this spring is fairly short. It's about 3.5 inches long. It actually only has about 1.5 inches of overall travel. And so we run into a lot of misunderstanding when people get this spring kit on and add their preload or get their ride height where they want it. And they see that this spring is actually connecting, or the coils are touching as it compresses some. That's by design. And in reality, with this spring combination on those applications like the XP1000, even the Turbo S, I don't recall if we use it on the Pro XP, I believe we do, but this is only meant to utilize about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of travel. So when you set your crossover at 3/4 of an inch and your preload's already been set and you put the car on the ground, yes, you're gonna lose some of that gap. It might drop down to 1/2 inch or even 1/4 of an inch. But what you need to know is this is a progressive spring. It is not a linear rate. So it's outputting a much higher rate as it goes into that travel. So even only compressing it 1/2 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, the spring rate goes way up in this progressive spring, and it's not going to collapse as quickly the last 1/2 an inch or 1/4 of an inch as it does the first, because of the progressive nature. So seeing that crossover gap be quite short, even at ride height, is by design. It's going to overcome the mainspring because it has such a high progressive rate, and you're still going to get more shaft travel than what you think, just because there might be a 1/2 inch or 3/8 of an inch gap at ride height. That doesn't mean that when the shock travels 3/8 of an inch, this is going to just cross over and be gone. In fact, the shaft will travel much more than that. Most of the front ends of these cars have a leverage ratio, maybe 2-to-1. So for every 2 inches of wheel travel, the shaft is only going to move about 1 inch. So if we have a 3/8 inch gap up here, in actuality, the shaft might actually travel much more than that, 1 inch, 1.5 inches. And at that point, we want it to cross over to the mainspring so that you're on that linear rate and you're getting that compounding bottoming resistance that we're looking for out of this particular rate on the mainspring. So that's one misconception. Don't be fooled. That's the way we've designed it. We've utilized the progressive tender for years and years. It works extremely well and gives us a nice linear, less of an abrupt transition or crossover point for a smoother overall ride. So remember that, and always reach out to our local Zebros dealer or check us out at zebrosracing.com.